Hello and welcome back to Chunking to Fluency, your go-to place for learning English naturally, one chunk at a time. In today's part 3 of a 4-part series, we'll be working with another 25 slow English sentences, all designed for intermediate level learners. Inside each sentence, you'll find useful phrases and expressions, or chunks, that real native speakers use every day. Just listen closely and shadow what you hear. That means repeating each phrase out loud, first with the speaker, then by yourself, at a comfortable, slow pace. This method will help you build fluency, confidence, and automatic recall. So get ready to speak, repeat, and improve, one chunk at a time. Ready? Let's do this!
And the next one is for the resume boosters. Em português, melhorar seu currículo. And in English, to improve your resume. Once more, to improve your resume. This chunk shows motivation. It's for people with ambition and good taste in verbs. Em português, ele se matriculou no curso porque quer melhorar seu currículo. English. He enrolled in the course because he wants to improve his resume. He enrolled in the course because he wants to improve his resume.
Here's a chunk that belongs in every "where are we" moment. Em português, o endereço no mapa. Now in English, the address on the map. The address on the map. This is what you're frantically trying to find when your phone battery hits 2%. An example sentence. Em português, nós não conseguimos encontrar o endereço no mapa. English, we couldn't find the address on the map. We couldn't find the address on the map.
Here comes a chunk filled with emotion and lots of texts. Em português, ela ficou surpresa com. In English, she was surprised by. She was surprised by. This one's perfect when something totally unexpected shows up, like 78 new WhatsApp messages. An example sentence. Em português, ela ficou surpresa com a quantidade de mensagens que recebeu. Now in English. She was surprised by how many messages she received. She was surprised by how many messages she received.
This one's got energy. Kid energy. Em português, estavam tão animadas. Now in English, we're so excited. We're so excited. This is what happens the night before a field trip, a birthday, or Christmas morning. An example sentence. Em português, as crianças estavam tão animadas que quase não dormiram. Now in English, the children were so excited that they barely slept. The children were so excited that they barely slept.
This chunk is for the binge watchers and documentary fans. Em português, o documentário. In English, the documentary. The documentary. You start watching for 5 minutes, and 2 hours later, you're ready to become a wildlife expert. An example sentence. Em português, o documentário foi tão interessante que assisti 2 vezes. English. The documentary was so interesting that I watched it twice. The documentary was so interesting that I watched it twice.
Here's one for the eco-conscious crowd, or the car-free rebels. Em português, andar mais de bicicleta. In English, to ride bikes more often. To ride bikes more often. Less gas, more pedals. Great for your health and your mood. An example sentence. Em português, eles decidiram vender o carro e andar mais de bicicleta. English. They decided to sell the car and ride bikes more often. They decided to sell the car and ride bikes more often.
And now, a relatable tragedy. Em português, caiu no chão. Now in English, fell on the floor. Fell on the floor. That heart-stopping moment when gravity wins and you pray the screen didn't crack. An example sentence. Em português, meu celular caiu no chão, mas felizmente não quebrou. English. My phone fell on the floor, but luckily it didn't break. My phone fell on the floor, but luckily it didn't break.
This one's a friendly reminder. Read before you do stuff. Em português, ler as instruções com atenção. In English, to read the instructions carefully. To read the instructions carefully. Because life is easier when you don't skip step 1. An example sentence. Em português, é importante ler as instruções com atenção antes de começar. English. It's important to read the instructions carefully before starting. It's important to read the instructions carefully before starting.
This next one, totally relatable in 2025. Em português, trabalhar de casa. Now in English, to work from home. To work from home. Also known as pajama productivity and Zoom meetings with coffee in hand. An example sentence. Em português, a maioria das pessoas prefere trabalhar de casa atualmente. English, most people prefer to work from home nowadays. Most people prefer to work from home nowadays.
Here's a chunk that proves you can do a lot with a little. En português, com pouco tempo. In English, with little time. With little time. You were rushed, you were stressed, but you still got it done. Boom! An example sentence. Em português, mesmo com pouco tempo, conseguimos terminar o projeto. English, even with little time, we managed to finish the project. Even with little time, we managed to finish the project.
Let's wrap this round up with a chunk full of fun. Em português, opções de lazer. And in English, leisure options. Leisure options. Think parks, museums, arcades, or even just napping in a hammock. An example sentence. Em português, a cidade oferece várias opções de lazer para todas as idades. English. The city offers many leisure options for all ages. The city offers many leisure options for all ages.
You know it's a bad sign when nobody is at the front desk. Em português, na recepção. And English, at the front desk. At the front desk, you walk in, look around, and it's just crickets. Classic hotel mystery. An example sentence. Em português, não havia ninguém na recepção quando chegamos ao hotel. English, there was no one at the front desk when we arrived at the hotel. There was no one at the front desk when we arrived at the hotel.
Let's talk about the real reason we go out, food. Em português, a comida no restaurante. Now in English, the food at the restaurant. The food at the restaurant. When it's good, it's worth writing home about, or at least leaving a glowing review. An example sentence. Em português, a comida no restaurante estava deliciosa e bem servida. English. The food at the restaurant was delicious and generous. The food at the restaurant was delicious and generous.
This chunk's a timestamp and usually a food coma marker. Em português, depois do almoço. And in English, after lunch. After lunch. The perfect time for a stroll, a nap, or a museum tour. An example sentence. Em português, depois do almoço, vamos visitar o museu e tomar café. English, after lunch, we'll visit the museum and have a coffee. After lunch, we'll visit the museum and have a coffee.
Next up, a travel chunk you'll definitely use in Brazil. Em português, quando chegarmos. Now in English, when we arrive. When we arrive, great for planning what comes next, like where the nearest beach is. An example sentence. Em português, por favor, avise-me quando chegarmos ao Rio de Janeiro. English. Please tell me when we arrive to Rio de Janeiro. Please tell me when we arrive to Rio de Janeiro.
This one's for the early birds and airport planners. Em português, chamar táxi. And in English, to call a taxi. To call a taxi. This chunk saves the day when public transport just isn't cutting it. An example sentence. Em português, queria chamar táxi para as 9 da manhã. English. I'd like to call a taxi for 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to call a taxi for 9 o'clock in the morning.
Let's talk money. This chunk helps you budget like a pro. Em português, por hora. Now in English, per hour. Per hour. Whether it's renting a bike or hiring a tutor, you'll want this phrase handy. An example sentence. Em português, quanto custa alugar por hora? English, how much does it cost to rent per hour? How much does it cost to rent per hour?
Still renting? You'll need this chunk too. En portugués, por día. In English, per day. Per day. Great for travel, car rentals, or figuring out what you're paying for that cute little scooter. An example sentence. En portugués, ¿cuánto custa alugar por día? English, how much does it cost to rent per day? How much does it cost to rent per day?
And if you're staying longer, here's a chunk with serious savings. In português, por semana. Now in English, per week. Per week. A handy phrase for Airbnb hosts, car rentals, or co-working spaces. An example sentence. Em português, quanto custa alugar por semana? English. How much does it cost to rent per week? How much does it cost to rent per week?
This one's a low-fuel panic button. En portugués, sem gasolina. And in English, out of gasoline. Out of gasoline. No one ever plans for it, but it always happens on a road trip, right? An example sentence. En portugués, eu estou sem gasolina. English, I've run out of gasoline. I've run out of gasoline.
Let's close this round with a digital era necessity. En português, acesso à internet. In English, access to the internet. access to the internet, you can lose your luggage, but if you have Wi-Fi, you'll survive. An example sentence. En português, queria ter acesso à internet. English, I'd like to have access to the internet. I'd like to have access to the internet.
This one's for the planners in the group. Em português, devemos estar de volta. And in English, should be back. Should be back. This chunk is perfect when you're organizing a group outing and want to seem responsible. An example sentence. Em português, a que horas é que devemos estar de volta? English, what time should we be back? What time should we be back?
Ah, yes. Shopping vocabulary. Very important stuff. Em português, o meu número. In English, my size is. My size is. Because nobody wants shoes that are too tight or jeans that betray you at lunch. An example sentence. Em português, o meu número é o 40. English, my size is 40. My size is 40.
Here's a retro chunk for old school photographers. In português, filme a preto e branco. And in English, black and white film. Black and white film. Yes, film, like the stuff people used before selfies. An example sentence. En português, preciso de filme a preto e branco para esta máquina. English, I need a black and white film for this camera. I need a black and white film for this camera.
Simple, classic, sharp. Em português, chega. Now in English, enough. Enough. Used when you've hit your limit, or just don't want to hear another sentimental story. An example sentence. Em português, chega. Chega de coisas sentimentais. English, enough. Enough of the sentimental stuff. Enough. Enough of the sentimental stuff.
We hope you learned something new today with these English chunks, and that you're feeling more confident with each phrase you practice. Thanks so much for listening and for being a part of the Chunking to Fluency community. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who's also learning English. And of course, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell icon so you never miss a chance to increase your fluency. See you in the next lesson. Be blessed.